which the Braves had the lead and took advantage of some turnovers and had an opportunity down the stretch. You can give us a call at 601-877-6595. You can text a question, 601-348-7254. You can tweet a question. I'm on Twitter, Tall Man Radio. Conference play for the Braves begins in 2 days. We're going to dive into UAPB as well. Doc Gamble's bunch. Doc Gamble, the head coach at UAPB, as you know, won the spring and the Western Division. And we're looking at Pine Bluff, and Doc Gamble used to be at Alcorn. And we'll talk about it with Braves head coach Fred McNair on the Fred McNair program. Glad you can join us. We'll take this time out. Glad you can join us on this Tuesday here on the Braves Sports Network.
Alcorn State University and
COVID-19 has changed how we stomp the yard and feel the beat. How we stroll. How we step. How we show our pride. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts. As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
is it safe?
Should I get it? Is it free?
It's okay to have questions. Now get the facts about COVID-19 vaccines at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your family.
Sports Network. Glad you can join us. A special Tuesday edition, a little extra prep time for this football team because we have a Thursday night game. Thursday at 6:30, we will be at Simmons Bank Stadium in Pine Bluff. It used to be called Golden Lion Stadium. Simmons Bank, a big sponsor of UAPB athletics. So we'll be at Simmons Bank Stadium on Thursday night, nationally televised tilt. Our first game is a member of the SWAC's Western Division. Doesn't get any better than that as we take on the Western Division champs, Doc Gamble's UAPB Golden Lions. Glad you can join us here as we recap the South Alabama game. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. You can text a question. We've got a couple of texts that have come in already, 601-348-7254. You can tweet a question. I'm on Twitter, Tall Man Radio. We're here with Braves head football coach Fred McNair. Coach, a short week but a busy week as you kind of put the South Alabama game in your rearview mirror and you get ready for UAPB, a very quick turnaround for your team.
And that it has been, Charles. Just to have a quick turnaround like that, you have to up the practice up in a day or so. You have to change the day in your mind to kind of get ready for a Thursday night game. So just like tomorrow, it'll be a Thursday for us tomorrow as we make preparation for travel after practice tomorrow morning. So Tuesday was a Wednesday, Monday was a Tuesday. So, just to get prepared in preparation for the upcoming game against the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. So, been a very interesting streak. So,
what a week last week and getting ready for South Alabama. I mean, trying to get as much practice time in as you needed to, made the trip to Mobile, and taking on a very good South Alabama team in the FBS. It was a good football game.
And that it was, Charles. I thought the kids came out and competed very tough against a good South Alabama ball team coached by Kane Womack. Very, very nice head coach. Gave us the opportunity to go to their facilities and get more practice in leading up to the game on Friday. Stopped by their facilities and got a little work in there to kind of help us out a little bit more than what we had prior to the week. But, the kids, I can't really say how much I'm pleased with those young men that really just poured their heart and sweat and tears into that performance coming off of an interesting week in preparations. Those kids really fought, man, and you wouldn't think that kids are played the way they played prior to the earlier in the week events that occurred. But those guys really put it out, and you could tell because in the course of the end of the game, you could tell the kids got a little fatigued and started cramping up there. And that's because of you don't get those 2 conditioning days that you normally get Monday and Tuesday. But those guys went in at halftime up by 7, felt pretty good about the charge. And as coaching staff, we're just trying to keep them together, and just say, just come on out and compete for 30 more minutes. And those guys did. They fought for 30 more minutes. And I'm well pleased with those young men, the way they carry themselves through the week and prepare for that ball game.
All right, so let's unpack the game. Well, before we can unpack the game, before you can unpack a suitcase, you got to pick it up and throw it somewhere before you can unpack it. So before we can unpack the game, we had a delay in the game. And I thought it was due to television. Of course, the game was being showed online on ESPN3. All kinds of speculation on my part. I was wrong on it all. And Emmanuel Barnes pointed out to me, look at the lights. And the lights on your side of the field were out. So just give us a sense, because we did kick it off. And I didn't really pay attention to the lights on the far side until he pointed it out to me. So just talk about those chain of events, because the game was delayed an hour and 24 minutes. Just talk about those chain events leading up to that, and it looked like we're going to try to play through it. And from what Cedric Tillman reported, you just were not going to play until those lights came back on.
Well, the biggest thing, Charles, before the kickoff, I asked the ref was the lights going to come back on, and he said they'll come on. I see the kicker approaching the ball, and the light's still off. I said, well, I guess that we're going to wait till the kicker approach the ball and then try to cut the lights on, I guess, But it was a strange event of things that happened during that moment, and then the ref come to me and asked me about, do I want to play? And I said, of course not. We can't see. And then the head coach came over there and talked to me about the light situation and talking about just playing 20 minutes, in which I was not, because playing in that kind of environment without lights is very, very scary, and it's not safe for the athletes to be involved in that kind of stuff, Charles. And I had to make a decision on whether to do those things or not. And just coming from me, and I had a good discussion with the referee, and with their administration came down and said a few words to me and told me what was going on with the lights, and of course that in that particular deal, they talk about rescheduling the game for Sunday, and I said no way we can do that. We got a ball game on Thursday, and we cannot reschedule this ball game. I did tell them that, and so just from that standpoint on, it was a decision I made to just wait, and I asked them could I take my players back into the locker room, and they didn't have a problem with that, so they did, and then eventually their team went in there to wait for until the lights came on. So we was there and just going back into the locker room and coming back out. They gave us 15 minutes to warm up, and I thought the kids responded well to that. As coaches and part of this program that I'm a part of, this coaching staff, we always tell those kids that, sudden change, it's going to happen, So the kid was up to it, and they did a great job of coming out and responding to that delay. And I'm so proud of those kids, Charles, and this coaching staff that I have here, of how they overcome things in those situations.
I was getting texts during the delay, what's going on, and once it got to 30-minute delay, then an hour delay, it got to a point after 8 o'clock that, we're at a point of no return. Was there even, we did play the game, but was there even, you talked about playing it on Sunday, was there discussion about the game not getting played at all as we got later into it?
No, they just asked me about just the playing the game on Sunday was a thing. But I told them, there's like no way I can do a Sunday game and then turn around and play a Thursday game. And due to those things, Charles, I have to think about the young men that's playing this sport. You talk about a quick turnaround anyway, but you lose another day, then you have to travel back, and Monday's on you before you know it. Then there's Tuesday and Wednesday you have to travel to Pine Bluff to get ready to play a very coach up ball club by Doc Gamble. And those guys are going to be ready to play. The last time we played those guys was in 16, and that's my first year as a head coach, and we got beat here at home on Thursday night. So, with that in the back of my mind and just figuring that, now we're open conference play, That South Alabama game really didn't have no born how the outcome of we were going to play during the course of the year. But to that extent, just thinking about that and in preparation for this game coming up on Thursday night. But, just things that happen, Charles, and we have to prepare for those things, and adversity hits sometime, and you have to be prepared for it. So I thought the guy really responded very well, as I said.
Well, let's get into the highlights. Of course, for those watching online, we'll have highlights of the game, and Fred McNair will talk about it. We had some penalties, Coach. We had 11 penalties in the game, and we were called for a delay of game on our first drive as we got the ball at the 25, and that's when the whole light issue came up. And an hour 24 later, hour and 24 minutes later, we resumed action. So we were able to punt on that drive on a 4th down and 7 at midfield. Then South Alabama got the football, Coach, with 9:29 left. On a 3rd down and 10, Bentley, no gain, and on that play, Coach, and just is Jacorian Wren with a big play there on 3rd down. So we're able to get off the field, Coach, on South Alabama's first possession.
And that's the thing that we have iterated throughout the course of the last few ball games that we played, Charles. 3rd down conversions, and I think the defense stepped up and did a great job of getting them off the field on a 3 and out there. This team is relentless, Charles. These guys play lights out. Defense played well in the first half there, and just to show you how much these guys gutted it out, just to come back on the field and make us tough stop right there.
So we got the stop, and then we got the football at our 33-yard line, had to punt, and then South Alabama got the football with 6:42 left in the first quarter. Avery on a 2nd and 15, and we kind of kept them on that second drive, Coach McNair, behind the chains, 2nd and 15, 3rd and 9, 2nd and 7, and then all of a sudden, they were able to get a touchdown as Walker's 1-yard run gave South Alabama the lead as they went 12 plays and 70 yards. Talk about that drive.
That was a tough drive, and we always talk about putting them behind the sticks as well on their offense, and I think the defense did a good job of making them in 3rd down on long conversion, and just a long drive, extend that drive, they were able to score that 1-yard touchdown.
So they went 12 plays, 70 yards, and South Alabama had a 7-0 lead. Then we got the ball with 2:11 left in the first quarter. We started at our own 25. Bowler with a big play, a 54-yard bomb from Felix Harper on a 2nd and 9. Talk about that play.
This C.J. Bowler, Vanderbilt transfer, we was looking for him way past now, Charles, and looking for good things out of him. He started 14 games at Vanderbilt for them, able to get him here, worked him, and now he's into the rotation now and did a great job. He got hurt during the course of the Central game and missed out on the Northwestern game, but just to get him back, just got cleared on Friday to be able to play on Saturday, and that just to show the way these guys really put effort into the things that they do to be able to come back and play. He's going to be a good receiver for us, Charles. We look for better things, and we're so excited about him being able to dress on Thursday night as well.
So that was a big play that set up the drive. And on a 4th and goal, we actually had a 1st and goal from the 5, and it was 4th and goal. And then Christopher Thompson missed a 27-yard field goal. It was blocked, actually. Talk about the protection there.
Well, first of all, it was a delay game on the first kick. We just got to get ourselves ready and get ourselves down and got to do a better job of, I know I do. I was trying to count the players on the field and not noticing the clock on that delay there, Charles. And so I take the blame for that one. We made the first one, then we had to delay a game there and then come back, and just lack of protection there. We just got to know how to, well, they've been taught to get their hands down when they jump. So was able to get a block there, and the projection of the kick was a little low as well. So I wasn't able to make that field goal there.
Well, it was 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. We dominated the time of possession. We had it for 9 minutes in that first quarter, but the 4 penalties hurt.
Yeah, they did, Charles, and those penalties always breath takers too, Charles, and that kind of takes the air out of you. But these guys continue to fight, man, and they just continue to press themselves. And like I said, I can't say enough about the young man there.
So it was 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. We have a phone call coming in. Mildred Day calling from Fayette, joining us here on the Fred McNair program. Good evening, Mildred. How are you?
I'm good.
Good evening.
Hello. I don't know what happened. I don't have a comment or anything. I was just listening.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for listening.
Sure.
All right, Mildred, we appreciate it. That sends us to a break. Second quarter coming up. Second quarter recap. We're going to talk about UAPB, our first game as a member of the Western Division, and we're taking on the Western Division champs at their place. We'll talk about it with Doc Gamble, former assistant coach here at Alcorn. Talk with him at Media Day. Should be a lot of fun at Simmons Stadium coming up on Thursday. We'll take a break. Second quarter recap coming up after this.
It's been difficult because I hadn't been able to see my grandchildren.
I can't wait to get back to field trips with my school.
Not having to think about putting on a mask.
I really can't wait to get back to life, really.
I miss all my friends. I miss taking pictures in school.
An expression on someone's face when you do something nice for them.
COVID-19 vaccines are available, and they're the first step to safely getting back to things we miss most. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccines.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just a little moment. If I could go back and change it all. If I could go back, I would. But I can't.
14-7, our score at the break. Well, let's take a look at the second quarter action, Coach. It was 7-0 in South Alabama. The drive started with 10.5 minutes left. Avery for no gain, and that drive stalled as Bentley's pass complete to Wayne, and it was fumbled, and we were able to recover the football, Coach, and we got the ball at South Alabama's 38-yard line, and turnovers played a factor in this game.
It did, Charles, and Coach Thornton does a great job of getting these guys into turnover drills and during the course of practice, scripting the ball out and those things, Charles. So we was able to recover that fumble and have the ball.
And we did get the ball at the 38-yard line. We were forced to punt on a 4th and 16, a 44-yard punt by Beauplan, but it was fumbled by Lacey, and Longcore recovered in the end zone. How much do you work on those type of situations?
Well, the biggest thing is, Charles, is us getting down the field and covering. I think Beauplan put a funny spin on the ball. He kicked it a different way because of where we at on the field to get the proper bounce just in case they don't feel it. But the guy was unable to feel the ball and went down, and Longcore covered the fumble in the end zone.
And that tied the game at 7. South Alabama's next drive started at their 17 with 6:32 left. Bentley, a 7-yard gain, a fumble recovered by the Braves. Solomon Wise at the 38-yard line. They're on 38, Coach, and again, there's some hard hitting going on out there. I thought we got them to put it on the ground.
It's strange to say that, Charles. I walked in the safety meeting room yesterday, and I call them the thumpers. I call them the thumpers because they know how to lay the hat down, Charles. And I think KJ came up and laid the wood on him, man. He really put a lick on that quarterback and made him fumble. Solomon Wise come up with the fumble recovery, and a great deal for us there. We create turnovers. And that's big for us to be able to create turnovers and take care of the football as well.
Yeah, we were able to do that against Northwestern State, and we were able to do it right here in this 7-7 game. So we got the football at our 38-yard line. Leatherwood for a run, and we were able to set ourselves up for a touchdown as Leatherwood kind of finished it off with a 1-yard touchdown run to give the Braves the lead. So we talk about Nico Duffy, and we talk about the other guys in the backfield. What about the style of running that you get from Leatherwood?
I tell you what, it's exciting to see him during the course of practice. Come from Tuscaloosa Central in Alabama, Charles, and this kid works hard in practice, and he deserves what he's getting. The runs in the game, he makes those runs during the course of practice. He finishes runs. I don't care where it's at. He gonna run to the end zone. And so we was able to get a good push on the offensive line for him to put in the box.
So we had the 14-7 lead at that point. 6 plays, 62-yard drive. South Alabama got the ball with 1:49 left in the second quarter, and that kind of took us to the end of the quarter, Coach. And 14-7 at halftime. I mean, despite everything, like you say, in spite of, we're able to battle. We trailed. Our defense created some opportunities. Special teams created some opportunities, took advantage of it.
Yeah, we did, and just being able to put the ball in the box early, Charles, and during the course of the game, it means a lot. And create no turnovers there. It kind of helped us out in the first half. Defense played really solid in the first half. Gave up 1 touchdown and made some stops, some key stops, and those turnovers during the first half. And us not turning the ball over too, Charles, so that helps us out a lot, and kind of sustaining those drives and finishing the drives as well. So when you're able to finish the drive, which we always talk about, finish the drive by putting it in the box, and I think he did a great job of that during the course of that last drive.
I thought offensively, we'll talk about the running attack a little bit later, but I thought offensively we're able to move the ball, starts and stops here, and I thought offensively we're able to get some things done.
Yeah, I mean, they had a stingy defense, Charles, and they played tough. Those guys had a well put together game plan defensive wise, and the things that they have, they took advantage of it. With all the assistant coaches on that team, man, it's amazing using their grad assistants and their student assistants to do those things. And talking about the analysts and all that kind of stuff. It's a difference. Now you're able to break down just about everything your opponents can show you, those key things and stuff like that. So just the little stuff, it means a lot just to be able to see and kind of identify those things that give the tip your hats, and I can say. But these guys fought very well during the course of the ball game in the first half.
What was your speech to your team at halftime? Here we are, with everything that's happened. We're up at the break, playing an FBS opponent at their place, wild and crazy crowd, making a lot of noise, and yet we're up.
And you're right, and wasn't no big speech at halftime, Charles. These guys know what we have to do as a team, whether we up or whether we down. Maintain the momentum, keep fighting, keep encouraging each other to go out and compete for 30 more minutes. And like I tell them all the time, we don't make excuses. We just find solutions to try to get the job done. And these young men, they fight for that, Charles, and they know how this coaching staff we're behind them and everything they put forth effort to do. We make sure that we're standing with them.
And the Braves were standing toe-to-toe with South Alabama at the break. We'll look at the third and fourth quarter recap coming up after this timeout.
You don't fight fair, so we'll just fight harder.
We didn't come here to play around.
You're going down.
Honestly, I hate you.
I'm stronger than you.
I'm more determined than you.
We're going to beat you, cancer.
Because the American Cancer Society
is on our team.
And together, we're unstoppable.
My name is John Calipari.
I'm Roy Williams.
I'm Jim Boeheim.
I'm Tubby Smith.
And I'm a coach versus cancer.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Fred McNair program. Glad you could join us however way you might be checking us out. Our producers on the radio side, Jamario Brooks, and on the video production side, the one and only Cedric Tillman. He'll be on the sidelines Thursday at 6:30 at Simmons Bank Stadium as the Braves take on UAPB. All right, Coach, let's look at this third quarter. 14-7, the Braves with the lead at the break. South Alabama gets the ball to begin the third quarter, and they got the football at their own 41-yard line, and they went 6 plays, 59 yards. And they were able to move the ball down the field. Walker, 13-yard run. They had Walker again for 18 yards. They had Lacey a 9-yard run. Talk about what didn't happen on that first drive of the third quarter.
Now the biggest thing is, we give them a big return on the kickoff. Just the ball placement of the kick wasn't where it needed to be. Give them a good return on that, and then they open up and start driving the ball. And I think our old pursue is one thing that we have to look at. In the way we pursue, we were fast instead of being slow to the gaps. We was open pursuing, they was cutting back against us on some of those runs, Charles.
What's the philosophy in terms of kickoffs? Coffin corner kick, straight up the middle. Does it depend on the team and personnel? Is there a certain kind of strategy you got to that?
Well, it just depends on the return guy, Charles. Some of them can really fly back there on the return. So depends on the return guy and what they're trying to do in their return. Give us the option to what kind of kick we want to present to them. But I thought that we just missed out when I think the other kicks we had was on point. But just that one, just giving the ball on the 41-yard line there, kind of put the defense in a bind.
That was a 28-yard kickoff return that set South Alabama up, and then Walker from 13 yards finished it off. Talk about that play.
Yeah, it was a physical runner. He's a physical runner, Charles. And the gap was there, and like I said, able to make the cut to get in the box, and he's a physical runner, Charles. He's a good running back.
So they came right back, 6 plays, 59 yards to tie the game at 14. Then we got the ball, Coach, at our own 18-yard line, and then went 3 and out. So I know this is obviously football 101. We have a long drive like that. You want to give your defense a blow, pick up a couple of first downs. How tough is that after your defense has been on the field and you go 3 and out and they're right back out there?
And that is tough, Charles, and that's the worst thing that could happen right then. Us getting 3 and out and putting the defense back on the field. So we got to be able to move the chains on third down, and we showed a lot of emphasis on that this morning during the course of practice. And we just got to get better on third downs. Whether we pass the ball, whether we running the ball, we just got to get better to give the defense a break. Even if it's a 9-play and we punt, I mean, at least they have a long break there. But hopefully this game will be a better game to get better on third down.
Well, after we went 3 and out, after they tied the game, then Beauplan, a 20-yard punt, Coach, that set up South Alabama at the Braves 35.
And that again too, and that always hurt. You have one kickoff, and you have one punt that gets away, get them good field position, and we can't do that against a good football team. That puts our defense in the bind again to not being able to flip the field on the punt, give them the ball on our own 39, something we can't do. To put our defense in the bind.
So they got the ball at the Braves 35-yard line, and then Walker, one play right up the middle, 35-yard run, and just like that, South Alabama grabbed the lead.
That's exactly right. Just almost an identical play, what they did before. Just like I said, over pursue. They're looking for the outside stretch, and he cuts it back against us, and they come off blocks and make the blocks on our backers, not being able to get there.
So we got the ball at the 24-yard line, now trailing by 7. We picked up a first down and had to punt, and South Alabama got the football at a 29-yard line, at their 29-yard line, and then Hill, an 11-yard run, capping off a 71-yard drive in 10 plays. You just talked about it. Do you think at that point, we were up, and then they scored, and then we picked up a first down, and then punted again? You think the defense at that moment in that part of the game might have worn down a little bit?
I mean, just the fatigue started setting in, Charles, and I can totally agree with that because I started seeing it during the course of the third quarter, about midway, to where the guy was coming off, cramping up and things of that nature. Wasn't nothing major, just cramping up, and that comes along with conditioning. So, but yeah, I saw a little fatigue sets in then, but the way the guys fought back, Charles, is unbelievable. To bounce back from that.
So from being up 7, we were down 2 scores, 28-14. Then on a 4th down and 2, a ball-plant punt, and it was a fumble, and it was recovered by our field. So talk about that, Coach, as we got the football with 1:43 left in the third. We got it at South Alabama's 30.
Yeah, another muff punt by them, and they didn't feel the ball well on the punt, and we was able to recover it and get the ball right there on their side of the ball field.
So that takes us to the fourth quarter, and we'll take a timeout here, and we'll look at the fourth quarter. An interesting ending to it in terms of a pick. Was it a safety at the end? We'll kind of break that down as well. We'll take your questions, your comments, your texts and tweets. Got a few of those to get to. And we'll look ahead to UAPB coming up Thursday night at 6:30. We'll take a break. The Fred McNair program will return after this.
FM.
And it is the bottom of the hour. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Brave Sports Network. All right, welcome back to the Fred McNair program. Glad you can join us. However way you might be.
You are tuned in to WPRL 91.7 FM, broadcasting from the campus of Alcorn State University.
Our producer, Jamario Brooks, on the radio side of the house. Cedric Tillman on the video side of the house. Glad you can join us on Facebook, as well as checking us out on 91.7 WPRL and online, WPRL.org, and WMIS, WTYJ in Natchez, 1240 AM, 97.7 FM, WMIS, WTYJ. They've been broadcasting down in the Mislu area for over 100 years, and they're online, NatchezRadio.com. Glad you can join us halfway through the Fred McNair program. All right, Coach, let's take a look at this fourth quarter. It's a doozy, 28-21 going into the fourth quarter. You couldn't ask for anything more than that. Lights going out, penalties, miscues here, there, and here you are standing toe-to-toe, a 7-point game going into the fourth.
And that's what you want, Charles. I mean, a big battle with two great football programs, and being able to stay toe-to-toe with a team like South Alabama was unbelievable for us and our preparations. But, man, these kids, I tell you, that just show the determination these kids have and the fight they have in them, the way they came out and then fought with this football team.
Well, Juan Anthony got into the act. He had some pretty good catches on Saturday, and Juan Anthony had a 2-yard catch for the touchdown. Early fourth quarter, 14-19 left, and it was 28-21 at that point. Now let's fast forward here. We got the football with 10:15 left in the fourth quarter. We got the ball at our 37-yard line. We got to South Alabama's 11. Felix Harper's pass incomplete to Manny Flash Jones. It was broken up. And then we had a second down and 18 as we were called for a hold, Coach. That was huge. That was a huge play in the fourth quarter. 2nd and 8, we were called for a hold there that pushed us back.
Yeah, it was a big hold, Charles, and it kind of put us back to where you don't want to be behind the chains like that, especially in that time of moment in the course of a football game. So that trend to kind of to put us back behind the chains, and it was a big hold for us.
Then we got to a 4th and 14, Coach, from South Alabama 17. We went for it on 4th down. 4th and 14 from their 17, so you're looking at a 34-yard field goal attempt. Was there even a thought of going for 3 or just trying to get some points there?
No, that wasn't, Charles. That wasn't a thought in my mind to settle for 3, because I thought that if we didn't get it, the defense was playing pretty tough during the course of that fourth quarter, and we'll get another stop and get another chance at it. So we threw the ball to Juan, and in his route catching and turning and facing up, he slips and wasn't able to get that first down. So we missed the first down probably about 3 yards.
So, and to your point, South Alabama got the football back with 5:36 left. They got it at their own 7-yard line, and we got off the field, 3 and out. So your strategy paid off there. You wanted to go for it, but your defense was playing well enough where you can flip the field.
Yeah, and that's true, Charles. And it's just the process of knowing what your team can do, offense and defense in those moments. Can we make that stop? And I trusted that Coach Thornton and this side of the ball can stop those guys if we went for it on 4th down. So we did. We chose to go for it on 4th down and just did what we expected. The defense made a stop and was able to get a punt out of those guys.
I remember the game in Atlanta, that first drive, we went for it on 4th and 12. We got points out of it. Fred McNair, you turned it into another Ron Rivera. They get called Ron Rivera, the coach of the Redskins, Riverboat Ron, Riverboat Gambler. Are you becoming a gambler, Fred?
Far from it, Charles. Far from it, man. Far from it.
Well, but your gamble paid off in terms of getting your defense off the field, and you were able to do that. As we got the football with 4:08 left, we got the football at South Alabama's 29, and let's start, obviously, Coach, with a pretty good return right there of 23 yards. Manny Flash Jones is really coming into his own, I think, on special teams, giving us some good field position.
He's flashy, first ball game, just coming in to being able to return some this time, and he's getting comfortable back there now, Charles, to where he can really feel himself to where he can catch the ball and return it on these teams. So, but he's flashy, just like you said, and he was able to make a couple guys miss and have a good return and put us in good field position.
You satisfied with your punt and kickoff returns so far this season?
Yes, I am, and just a situation of just being able to feel the ball and not muff the ball, and just as long as we feel the ball, I think we have a chance, and not being able to turn it over, let the ball hit the ground and lose yardage going back and forth. So I'm pretty much pleased with what we're doing right now on our special team right now.
Well, we got the ball at South Alabama's 29. With 4:08 left, we were able to move the football, but our second play on that drive, a false start, Coach, and that stung a little bit.
That always hurt, Charles, especially those kind of penalties that you can't have, and that's just not concentrating and staying focused on the task at hand. We have a false start there to back us up 5.
So it was 1st down and 15 from South Alabama 17. Bolton for a yard rush, and Felix Harper for a 3-yard rush. Then it was 3rd and 13. From South Alabama's 15, and Felix Harper's pass in the end zone was intercepted. Talk about that play.
That was a tough play, Charles. We had going across the middle. We had 2 guys almost in the same position, but I think if he wait just a little longer, he'll find the window to throw the ball instead of throwing it to the defender.
And that was intercepted. And then the controversy started in terms of where the pick took place, at the goal line, at the 1 in the end zone. What was the explanation given to you on that?
Well, the biggest thing is I thought the guy that came out the end zone with the ball, then he went back and fell in the field of play with the ball. And the expression was the whole ball had to come out. But I don't think they took a look at when he stepped out the end zone with the ball. I think more in terms of where the ball was when he came back out the second time. But, just the had a timeout. They reviewed it before then. I had a timeout. So I wanted to make sure that they look at it closely and get a good understanding of what they was trying to call in those terms. So they said the call stand. So and that's what it was. And I thought the guy came out the end zone the first time with the ball instead of him coming out and not having the ball cross the plane the second time.
That would have changed everything.
Of course it would have.
That would have changed everything.
Absolutely.
And that was tough. That was a tough one because there was a couple of looks at it, and you called the timeout obviously to get even a further look.
Yes, and that's why I called the timeout, Charles. Even if they did change it over, we'll get the ball. We'll have about a minute or something left to go out to score again. But that wasn't the case. They made the call and they stood with it. So. My biggest thing is, Charles, my hat's off to these young men here that play this sport with this program and the way they perform during the course of that game. And they kept their composure, not getting upset about anything. We just went out and played a hard-fought ball game, I thought, with these guys. And the way they competed is incredible, the way they fought during the course of this ball game.
And, of course, there were 5 games this season so far in which an FCS team upset an FBS team, and we darn near were close to being the 6th team as the Braves fell short by a touchdown. We'll take a break. We'll go inside the numbers, take some calls, texts, and tweets when we return on the Fred McNair program.
I surrender.
All right, pal.
Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's up?
Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
Can I play with it?
No, absolutely not. It's not a toy. You know that. Anyway, I need it to protect you, your sister, and Mom.
But what about the 8 kids who get shot every day by mistake?
Where'd you hear that?
Where do you keep it?
It's hidden.
I bet it's on the top shelf of the closet, under your sweatshirts. Is it loaded? Remember when I found my Christmas gift? You always told me to be curious.
No, that's not what I meant.
And when it's just me and Mom, I could use the gun to protect her.
No, Justin, I promise. I'm always here for you.
But Dad, you're not always here.
Back to the Fred McNair program. You have time for a question or two. 601-877-6595. Got the text and tweets warmed up and ready to go. We'll get to those in a moment. Coach, the one thing, a couple of things coming out of this game, and obviously, you want to improve going forward. We had 11 penalties in the game, and that's something that obviously you want to continue to clean up.
Oh, yeah, we talk about that all the time, Charles, and penalties. And in the game previous to that, we only had 4. So I guess this been one of the biggest ball game that we play, because the next one is the big one. So just being understanding what we had to do, and with the type of team that we played, you kind of feel those guys trying to do something out of ordinary, other than doing what they're coached to do in those situations. But nevertheless, these guys they fought real hard to play through the course of this ball game.
And the biggest glaring stat is we know we love to run the football. We ran it 31 times for 32 net yards. What didn't happen? Was it us or was it South Alabama?
Well, us not sustaining the blocks a lot of times, and there's sometimes we had creases. We just didn't miss. We missed them with the running backs, and there was a physical team up front. They was huge. They was big, but no excuse. We still could run the ball on them. We just had to make sure that we were seeing the holes and make sure that the guy was hitting them, and just sustaining blocks was the biggest thing.
Felix Harper, 20 of 33, 265 yards. He was sacked 4 times. Talk about the protection.
Well, I think the protection is there. I think Felix is still holding the ball a little long, Charles, than he need to. We're trying to clean it up now. We talk about that during the course of practice, and just to get him to understand, those hits that you're taking sometimes is on you, because he know how to get the ball out. Sometimes he's just sticking on it too long and wait for it to develop instead of going through his progression the way he should.
So you look at Felix Harper at 20 of 33, 265. We talked about Bowler, 128 yards in reception. I thought LaCharles Pringle got going a little bit in that second half, especially, Coach. 6 for 73, Juan Anthony Jr., 6 for 45, Tim McNair Jr., 2 for 13. So that rounded out the receiving category. Coach, defensively, who stood out for you? Who was really, 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 really on point defensively?
Well, the biggest thing is, making the tackles was Claudine Cherlus. He played exceptionally well.
What's his story in terms of just the type of player he is and just coming to Alcorn?
He's a physical player, man. I think Coach Charlton did a great job in recruiting him from UMass and the things he did with him in the recruiting process. But he's a physical guy, and he loved to hit. But just the things that we present as a team, team-wise, we do have some good players that's going to step up in the next couple of days, and when we get ready to play University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff.
We're very physical. We're hitting out there.
Yeah, we're thumping, Charles. Like I said, the safety, I call them the thumpers other day, and it was a well-played ball game by the course of these guys and the way they really pour their heart into it.
What was the energy like in the locker room? I know it was disappointing that you didn't win the game, but despite it all, your team was right there, and we darn near had a touchdown to tie this thing up.
Charles, the energy was good, Charles, and these guys know how close they were to winning this ball game, and just a play here and there that we could have made to get this thing done. We're that close, and we just about to pull this thing together. In all phases of the game, talking about offense and defense and special team. And that's where you want to be. Everything is coming together, in a short week and get ready to go play a real good physical university at Arkansas Pine Bluff.
That's a 6:30 kickoff. We're going to talk about that in a few moments. We'll take a break here. We'll get to the text and tweets when we come back.
Alcorn State University.
When I think of Alcorn, I think of family.
I would encourage people to come to Alcorn because if you're looking for a great way to connect with people, to also get your degree, and also to enjoy college, I would definitely choose Alcorn.
If they made the choice to come to Alcorn, they wouldn't regret it. You would just meet so many great people that would have a lasting impression on your life. And the teachers and everything, it's just a family. And it's a great family to be a part of because once you're part of the Brave Nation, you just can't forget it. You can't let it go. Be brave. Go further.
We are Alcorn.
Choose to be brave.
Choose Alcorn.
Alcorn proud, brave strong.
Alcorn is where you belong.
Can I get the Nauber, please? $1. Have a good one. Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get in.
24/7, 365. If you send a tweet after the show, we'll obviously use it for the next show. So, Coach, a couple of tweets about Felix Harper. Lexus Smith feels like Felix Harper's been off the first 3 games. Has there been a discussion about maybe letting him sit a series or two, just seeing it from the other side?
Not at this time, Charles. I think he's coming around to himself and getting an understanding of what he needs to do in preparation to get better each and every week. So right now we're sticking with Felix and he knows the thing, the decision he has to make, have to do it quickly during the process of a play. So unfortunately he's gonna get better, Charles. There's no other way.
And then a follow-up tweet about the offensive line being more physical and having a mean streak. Do you feel like the offensive line is being pushed around a little bit, or are you happy with how they're able to hang in?
They're playing physically tough, Charles, and I'm seeing some good stuff that they're doing. I think Coach Ratton does a great job with the physicality part of getting them to do the things that he needs to get done in preparation of a run or a pass play to protect the passer and open holes up for the run. So I think that the physicality part is there. These guys play tough in the trenches.
We talked about the penalties, Coach. We had 12 men on the field. You see that happen. What do you do to prevent it from happening?
Well, it wasn't exactly 12 men on the field, Charles. We got called for probably of offside more than anything. We had one. We brought one off the field, and that gave us 10. So we had to get the other player on, but he didn't get across the ball of outside the ball. That's why they threw the flag. Pretty much for being offsides or legal substitution.
All right, from the text line, you can text a question, 601-348-7254. Coach, how are Austin Bolton, the running back, and Kadarius Wells, the tight end, doing?
They're doing good, Charles, and they gonna run the ball as hard and as well as they need to. They get an opportunity to carry the ball in all situations. So we just got to continue to pound and open up gaps. And let me clarify one of those things that I said a few minutes ago, Charles. It was 2 penalties with substitution. One of them was 12 men on the field. We did have a linebacker that didn't get off the field in time. I thought he did, but they reviewed that play. And there we did have 12 men on the field. But I was mistaking that for another play that also occurred during that time, too. We just got to do a better job of running off the field as players when the substitution comes in.
Talking about UAPB, Coach, text coming in, UAPB has a pretty good passing attack. Must go in and be aggressive and attack Skylar Perry. And that's one comment. And You talked about Felix Harper and his reads, using his legs more. Are you trying to cut back on that? I mean, we know what he could do out in space, but you gotta be careful as well.
No, if it presents itself, Charles, of course we're gonna run him. But if it presents itself, but our ideal thing is to use what we got in the backfield to run the football. We're very creative in running the ball, and we just have to make sure that Felix knows when that light bulb is about to blow, you got to throw the ball. And that's the biggest thing. So we just got to make sure that we stay on him and do the thing we continue to do, Charles. And I think it's going to get better throughout the rest of this year.
Of course, our running attack, we talked about that. 32 net yards against South Alabama. So that brings up the question, we did not have Stafford Anderson. Will he play on Thursday?
It's a game time decision. I think it'll be whether he get cleared or not from the doctor. I think he had an appointment today. See was he going to be cleared. So if so, we'll monitor that situation in the course of the tomorrow and game time decision for him if he's cleared. And
Coach, a arrived support here. A text coming in. The Braves Nation stands behind you and your support, and the staff and players did a phenomenal job. From a fan's perspective, what can fans do to help things out? I'll tell you what, just continue to give your support. And I didn't mention this last week. I just totally got off last week. But those guys that are responsible for the points challenge, we really appreciate that, and the fans for doing those things and putting in the Tomorrow Club. We really appreciate you guys for everything that you guys do, even the people that just puts into the Tomorrow Club. We really appreciate you as a staff and as a team. The things that you do is not unnoticeable. We notice everything that you do. We get it. But I do want to just say thank you guys for doing that and continue to support this Brave football program. I got a volleyball team tonight. I'm kind of missing out on it because I changed my show, Charles. So I'm normally out there supporting those other sports as well. And just to go on and donate to wherever you need to go donate, whatever sport you desire. Just make sure that these coaches know that you're here to support them as well. So we do want to thank y'all guys for that. Yeah, that was kind of my fault, too, because good friend Ken Gordon wanted me to throw that out there, and I totally forgot it. It slipped me last week as well. So, yes, that's a good point. And that giving challenge is catching on. I mean, other teams are doing it as well, and that's a good thing because those dollars are definitely needed. Oh, of course they're charged, and there are things that we need for each and every one of the programs as well. It don't go unnoticeable to where we spend it as a coach. Just the need for these young men and women to show them that we support them as well as coaches, and we want them to have a great experience here at Alcorn as a student athlete. Well, Coach, there was a comment you're talking about 12 men on the field. Text just came in, and we consider selecting a student assistant to be responsible for counting the number of players on the field. You got to have eyes everywhere, Charles. I tell you, and always before a punt or before a kickoff, I'm always asking the guys upstairs, give me a head count, And but those guys do a good job of letting me know how many we have. But I think in the course of the game, I think that we all get involved in too much of what needs to be called next, and getting guys on and off the field at amp time. But situations like that occur sometimes, Charles. But games management, that's up to me. That's what I do. But, it's in the course of the game, in the heat of battle, things tend to slip away from me sometimes. But it'll get better for us. And I think the guys, what we're doing is doing an excellent job of doing the things that we need to get done. All right, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll look at our first game as a member of the Western Division, and it's against the Western Division champs, UAPB. We'll talk about it after this timeout on the Fred McNair Show.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
University, 48 hours away from our conference opener, our first game as a member of the SWAC's Western Division, UAPB, the Golden Lions, coached by Doc Gamble, who was here on the Jay Hobson staff. You know Doc Gamble well, Fred McNair. He was the running backs coach, and I was teasing him at media day. You know, when he would hand the football off to his running backs, he would run through the hole. The running back would run through the hole, and Doc Gamble would run through the hole. He ran right behind him. And we talked about that and joked about it at media day. He had fun with that. But it's no fun now. It's business right now, Coach. It's the first game as a member of the Western Division. And see, we hadn't been in Pine Bluff forever. I think, let's see, I've got my notes here. I think it was 2016 the last time we played them, and hadn't been in Pine Bluff since 2013. So it's been a while since we've seen this bunch. They surprised everybody in the spring. No one in that follows this conference had UAPB win in the West, but they did it. They beat Grambling, they beat Southern, and they won the West and darn near won the whole thing. So as you look at this team, Skylar Perry, the quarterback, defensively they're aggressive. They played Central Arkansas tough in the second half last week. What concerns you about this team?
Yeah, the biggest thing offensively with the starts at the quarterback, Charles, and the things that Skylar Perry do with the ball in his hand, and that's one thing that you want to do is try to get the ball out of his hand. But on the other side of it, they got some great receivers too that make plays. Dijon and Wiki and those guys like that, man, and they're gonna be a very good challenge for us, Charles. We just got to go out and compete with our defense and try to slow down the offensive things that they do on offense. Doc Gamble, you know, he was a quarterback before, coached quarterbacks, and pretty much was the OC at one time, I think at Pine Bluff when Coach Thomas was there. So going to be very challenging for us, Charles. But like I said, our guys are up for a challenge each and every week. We have to make preparation to play a real good Pine Bluff football team.
They beat Lane 34-16, and they lost 45-23 to Central Arkansas. They trailed 28-9 at the half, and they woke up in the third quarter. They only trailed 31-23 at the end of three quarters, so they were very much in that football game. You talked about Skylar Perry, but in the backfield, Vaughn, Crossley, those are the two, as well as Britton. What concerns you about their running attack?
The biggest thing, they can run the football, Joe. And anytime a team can run the football, they're always concerned in what we do with our defense as well. So we got to make sure that we cover our gaps, make sure we tackle, and those guys that's going to run the football. I think Skylar Perry, he's probably the second leading rusher on the team, so he does a lot with his legs as well. And Crossley, he's going to run the football hard. We just got to be able to contain him and stop him.
They spray the ball around. Harrell, Wilkes, Miller, Hill, and there's some pretty good receivers. 5'10", 5'8". They're small, but they're quick, so you really have to be alert in the secondary.
And that's big time, Charles. And we have to do a better job of making sure we know where those guys at all times. So I think Coach Thorne got a great game plan for that. Looking forward to playing a real good, solid defensive ball game.
Through two games defensively, UAPB has 6 sacks and 3 picks. And in the middle of that defense is Thick Pen, 12 tackles versus Central Arkansas. What is it about this defense that worries you?
Well, the biggest thing is they're fast on defense, Charles, and they mostly play by the linebackers and safeties that lead the tackles. So we have to do a real good job up front. They do multiple fronts. They do odd. They'll do an even front deal. So we have to make sure that we can identify the fronts and sustain the blocks and open up gaps for the young men to run. So if we do that, I think the challenge on their defense will be how can they stop us.
On the injury front, our center, Milburn, will he be ready?
No, Milburn will be out this week as well, Charles, and hopefully he'll be back after the bye week to get ready for preparation in the next game Charles, but he'll be out this week.
This is what it's all about, Coach, as we wind it up. I mean, this is what we're all talking about, the SWAC, being a member of the West. We know that gauntlet, Grambling, Southern, UAPB, Texas Southern, Prairie View. This is what it's all about from here on in. You got SWAC games from Houston to Daytona, and right in the middle, Pine Bluff.
That's exactly right, Charles. And, Dean Bowen says it best. It's SWAC time, baby. So going that way, Charles, just to be able to get into conference play and really getting out of the non-conference play without any serious injury, it was a big thing for me, especially this past game against South Alabama, not being able to just be physically beat up is where we're at now. So I think the guys did a great job of preparing themselves to play a physical ball game and being able to fight, and that's the biggest thing coming out of this ball game, leading up to playing University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff.
Yeah, I would imagine playing up last week and being in the game, having a shot to win the game, and on a short turnaround time, that should give this team a great shot of adrenaline and momentum going to Pine Bluff.
Well, they're excited. They came out Monday, Charles, and they practiced hard. Had a decent practice this morning. We're going to pad it up in the morning and get a little bit out of them in the morning and get ready to get on the bus and head out to Little Rock tomorrow afternoon. So these guys up for the challenge. They know the significance of this ball game in terms of what it's going to mean to win it. So go out and play a physical ball club and play tough, and that's where we brand it, Charles. And we're gonna be physical.
Coach, let's go get them.
Go Braves.
Go Braves. Go head coach Fred McNair, and let's get it done in Pine Bluff. Our first game as a member of the West against the Western Division champs UAPB at 6:30. You can catch it on the Braves Sports Network at 6 o'clock. We're going to talk with Tim Stubbs of the Pine Bluff Radio Network with a Pine Bluff preview. And at the half, we're going to talk a little Braves baseball. We have a new baseball coach, Reginald Williams. Been here 3 weeks and has hit the ground running. And we'll talk to him at halftime on the Braves Sports Network, so stay tuned for that on Thursday. That'll do it for the Fred McNair program. We appreciate the calls, the texts, the tweets. We'll do it all over again next week. I'm Charles Edmonds, Braves head football coach Fred McNair. Have a good one. We'll talk to you next time. So long.